Hello, and welcome to the flat spin and compressor stall recovery guide for the Aerosoft F-14A. In this video we'll cover two types of compressor stalls along with both methods of aerial restart. Before proceeding with the flight demonstration, I'll do a quick rundown of the systems we'll be interacting with. We'll start with the bleed air source, which is found on the right panel. There are 5 switches, and presently the source is set to both engines. When the engines have failed and we're ready to perform a windmill start, we'll set the source to off. When the left engine has been successfully restarted, we'll set it as the air source and use it to perform a cross-bleed restart of the right engine. Once both engines have been restarted, the air source will be set back to both. Looking at the left panel, the first item of interest is the emergency wing sweep cover, which gives us access to emergency sweep mode. I'll be using a hardware axis to interact with the lever, but if you're in a pinch, the default command to fully extend the Concorde nose visor has been assigned to simultaneously enter emergency sweep mode and sweep the wings aft to 68 degrees. Next items of interest are the inlet ramps, which are presently set to auto mode. When we're attempting to perform an aerial restart, we'll need to fully retract the inlet ramps by setting the mode to stow. Below that is the engine crank switch, which we'll be using to restart the engines. Don't be fooled by the air start switch, as it's only intended to bring a stalled engine back to life before it is fully unspooled. The last items of interest are the throttles, which we'll need to set to the idle off detent. This is achieved with a right mouse click once the throttles have been cut. Alternatively, if you have a hardware setup such as a Thrustmaster Warthog and FSU IPC, you can set the hardware idle off detent to match the simulators. With those items covered, we'll look at some of the high angle of attack characteristics of the F-14. First item of note is that above approximately 10 degrees or 15 units angle of attack, the yaw stability and roll authority decrease and even go negative. This creates the predicament of having to use rudder input for both lateral and directional response. Compounding the problem are the somewhat temperamental TF30 turbofans. When performing high alpha maneuvers, it's important to keep them spooled above 80% RPM, or a compressor stall can onset with little warning. This is the first type of compressor stall we'll look at today, and it will occur in the left engine, which will be set to idle. The second type of compressor stall is beta-induced, coinciding with high side slip angles, although increasing either altitude or angle of attack will make a stall more likely. This second type of compressor stall will be seen in the right engine, which will be held above 80% RPM as a measure of stall protection. Since we will not be attempting an immediate recovery of the engines, both throttles will be quickly set to off once the stall has set in. Finally, low directional stability, compounded with poor pilot correction, will lead to the onset of a flat spin. Once fully developed, no normal control input can recover the aircraft, and the official naval procedure is to eject. However, we'll implement a recovery technique pioneered by Joe Hoser-Satrapa. By sweeping the wings aft, a large nose-down moment is created, and this will pull the Tomcat out of the spin. Pro-recovery inputs will help recover the Tomcat. The next step is to pick up airspeed, which we're doing quickly, but we'll need about 320 knots indicated to perform a windmill restart of the TF-30s. A path angle of approximately 10 degrees nose down will maintain airspeed for a clean aircraft. Moving quickly, we'll set the inlet ramps to stow. Bleed air source will be set to off. Clear warnings and check airspeed. Engine crank to left. Left throttle to idle and wait for the compressor to light. Once started, set the left inlet ramp back to auto and the air source to left. It is not necessary to maintain airspeed for a cross-bleed start, since the left engine will provide the necessary energy. Set the right inlet ramp to stow, and engine crank to right. It's important to note that since the initial engine RPM will likely be less than 18%, it's possible to perform a hot start if the throttle is engaged too early during a cross-bleed start. Once the right engine has been successfully started, set the right inlet ramp back to auto and the bleed air source to both engines. Clear warnings and return to normal flight.